What's up, guys? Iceman here. So, in this video, I'm going to talk to you guys about reason as to why I've chosen a simple life thus far. You see, Ice Boy, I'm pretty fucking cheap. Alright? Really trying to get out of debt right now. Eliminate the bills. And the woman and I actually intend to run out into the fucking woods. Buy a little bit of land. Put up this and that. Have a little RV or some shit. That can be my office where I post videos from and play Diablo. Maybe some World of Warcraft. Maybe try FF14, I don't know. Those sort of things, but it's kind of what I envision. That's what I desireth for my hopefully not too distant future. I guess it all started, dog, when Ice Boy was just a little duck, alright? Just growing up, just remember looking around and just seeing how busy and stressed the world was. And the toil involved, you know, the labor, the putting thyself into debt, and just committing to too much. And just how fucked up shit was. So it really made me think about shit. It's like, man, I don't want to do that. You know, I don't want to have to worry about this or that or all this fucking bullshit. So it made me think, what can I do to begin, you know, this simple life that I desire? Now, I have fucked up a little bit on the way. As I've mentioned in a previous video, I actually took out a student loan. And in my case, it was a bad idea. Because you see, Ice Boy never really wanted to work for anyone, okay? So what's the point in getting a college degree if I don't ever want to work for anyone? You know, didn't ever want to have to really work at all. Not gonna fucking lie to you guys. So there wasn't any field in which I could go into that was not working for anyone and not working much at all, you know what I'm saying? But of course there's good things to be had in working, and I do work. It's just not that kind of work that's, you know, career oriented or degree seeking oriented, things of that sort. But yeah, I did put myself into some debt, and that was a big fuck up for me, considering what I wanted out of life. But after that, there was another point where I was in my early 20s, okay? And I went to Best Buy. I was influenced by someone, a little bit. I was like, okay, no interest on their credit card. And I was like, oh, there's this TV. I could play Halo Reach on this shit. Halo Reach is a Toad game. I wouldn't mind revisiting that multiplayer. Halo Reach was a damn good time. I thought it was one of the best ones. Still probably is, especially the way those Halo games are going from what it seems. But yeah, Halo Reach was a good time. So what I did was, I got the Best Buy credit card, and I put the TV on it. I was like, shit, this is easy. It's like, I don't even got to pay for this shit. And so I put a TV stand on it as well. So of course, month goes by, make the payment, enjoying the TV. Another month goes by, make the payment. And it wasn't too long where I was like, this fucking sucks. And I still had like a year, you know, where I had to pay that shit off. It was a TV, a stand. I think that was it, but I don't remember entirely. So time progressed, making these $100, $150 payments a month on this thing. And when I started to near the close of it, I was like, you know what, Ice Boy? When this shit is done, I'm never gonna get a fucking credit card again. And that's exactly what happened. Outside of the one that I had to get to build up some credit to get a house. So yeah, I actually did get a credit card later, but I paid it off every statement just to build up credit to get the house. Because the house, I think, was the one thing that I could now maybe justify going into debt over, okay? Because obviously it's an asset that's not constantly diminishing like the US dollar. So you might be better going into debt over the house and paying it off over time, because it's going to be a growing asset, you know what I'm saying? But that was the last time I chose to go into debt. This was many moons ago at this point. So I'll be right back. Gotta pause the video. Wyman's here. What's up, guys? So, like I was saying, that was the last time I ever wanted to be in debt. Outside of getting a fucking house. So, another thing that I've been striving to do is with vehicles. Because vehicles, well, they're replenishing assets. You buy a new car for $40,000, $50,000. 10 years later, it's worth like an eighth of that or something. It's really fucked up. And of course, you got to pay insurance on it when it's well, you're paying higher premiums and your insurance costs are higher because it's a more expensive asset when it's this supposed $50,000 vehicle. So that's something to factor in as well. You're not only committing to 50 grand for something that's gonna, in the not too distant future, be worth $3,000, but you're also gonna pay higher insurance every single month for it than what you would for a cheap piece of shit. So what I have done from the beginning is I've purchased cheap pieces of shit. Not literally speaking, however. You see, because what I do is I try to do a little bit of research, right? Try to use my head and shit. I go on the internet, I'm like top most reputable car brands, or most reliable vehicles, or most reliable vehicles from mid-2000s, you know, things like that. So I begin to notice common themes, and plus you have to use your head a little bit, you know, look around on the road, you know, take notice to what you see in terms of older vehicles, you know, what are generally on the road more often, what do you see often that are from like 20 years ago? What I take notice to are, for one, Suburbans, Yukons, Tahoes, shit like that, but more notably I would say Hondas and Toyotas. So what I did, well, I've been buying used cars ever since the beginning, most of which were around $3,000. So what I drive now is a Toyota Sequoia. That's about 15 years old, and it's been the best fucking car I've ever had so far. They're strong as fuck. They have a big ass V8. This one's an all-wheel drive, limited version. It's very nice. Also have a 4Runner that's 15 years old as well. 4Runner I've had for a few years now. Got it for cheap. Has very high mileage, both of these vehicles. But the thing is, Toyota makes them very well. All right, and if the owner, you got to use some discernment and shit. When you go shopping, you know, you have to discern this shit. Like, did the owner take care of it? You know, do they seem like they're the ones who get the oil changed and shit? So that's something that you have to use your head on a little bit. But that saves you a lot of money. Another thing I do is I just rarely go out to eat. All right. Fortunately, I have a woman who makes a lot of meals, but even before I was with her, I'd go to the store and I'd buy tuna fish, eggs, chimkin pot pies, ground beef, steak, salmon, bags of frozen fish and shit. All right, I'd buy all the stuff from the stores and then I'd prepare it, make myself peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and shit. Now, these were in days where I wasn't as conscious of my health, but even if it were the case then as it is now, I still would have saved a lot of money. Because those things really add up when you go out to eat like that. Or if you go to Starbucks and buy yourself a Frappuccino or whatever. You know, you spend $5 on a coffee drink every day. Shit like that really adds up. I don't have many subscriptions at all. I don't have a Netflix. I just pay for internet. I don't have TV. Just internet. You know, generally the cheapest internet I can get. The only subscription I've paid for in years and years has been World of Warcraft. And I've only paid for a few months of that in total ever. So that's that, man. But yeah, I've been pretty fucking cheap and very conscious of my expenses. And it's allowed for me to be at peace in many ways, where you're not as worried about things coming up. Because that's the thing. I've always taken notice to this, how people don't always factor in how sometimes things just go bad. In fact, things at times can go bad often. You know, fucked up shit happens and then we die. That's kind of how life is, dog. So you have to think about this shit, and that's how I grew up thinking. I was like, well, you gotta be prepared for this shit. You gotta be prepared for the freezer to go out. You gotta be prepared for the furnace to go out. You gotta be prepared for the roof to have a fucking leak. You gotta be prepared for your engine to blow up, or for your dishwasher to go out, your AC unit to go out. You know, all this shit. You know, you gotta be prepared to get fucked up and be in surgery and be out of work for 10 days, or whatever the case. You know, there's too many variables, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of fucking variables. So with that being said, I always wanted to lay out the groundwork, you know, where just in case X, Y, and Z happen, you know, I want to still be able to be at relative peace and know that I can still maintain this household as much as I can, you know what I'm saying? Because I hate stressing over that shit, man. Now, I ain't perfect at it, but I mean, I've made some strides. And in my book, I feel like I'm doing all right now. But another thing, well, is, now, I've touched on this recently in a previous video. I mean, right now, dog, you know, I haven't reproduced, man. And there's probably a lot of things that can be had from that. And I'm still, you know, contemplating these things, because do I really want to be all by my fucking self when I'm 50, 60 years old? You know, do I really want to be by my fucking self playing Diablo at 70 years old? You know, I don't have a child to sit there and talk to me and shit, or to think about, or to worry about, or to call up on the phone, you know, whatever the case might be. Because of course you never know how things are going to go with that. But shit, I guess you could have a couple children, and it seems likely the more you have, maybe one will stick around, you know, near your living vicinity. But hopefully not too much, as we see often, where they live with you, you know, in their 20s and 30s, they just never get out of the fucking house. You know, these are part of my concerns. And back in the day, they used to be an asset. They used to work on the farm. It used to be a great thing to have children. Shit, you should have 10 children. You know, it used to be such a good thing. You get them all working and shit, and you own your little land, you get them to help out on the farm and build the little cabins and shit. But now the powers that be have found a way to turn this little thing upside down, where all of a sudden it's quite the opposite of that, where they're an expense, you know, they're a cost, they're a burden, they're all sorts of things. But even with that being said, as mentioned, it's still something that kind of contemplating, man. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. But it has allowed for a simple life up until now, because I haven't had the offspring to look after, or to be concerned about. You know, I could just be concerned about myself. That was kind of the impression that I had since the beginning is, well, you know, life is, it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of toil and stress, and it's enough to just have to, you know, take care of myself and maybe a woman. You know, that's enough. That's kind of what I thought going into it, but I could be wrong, man. I mean, a lot of you guys say that it's much worth it to have children or whatnot, but that has contributed, like I said, to my cheap and relatively lucrative lifestyle. Not that it's to a great extent that way, but it's just, like I said, I mean, right now, you know, I haven't had too many stresses, and I appreciate you guys for supporting me as you have, because in this channel, my other channel, hopefully this one I could get monetized once I get 1,000 subs, so subscribe to the damn page if you haven't yet. But you guys have helped a lot, you know, with the views, and especially my patrons and those of you giving me donos, tippy in the tippy jar, buying me a fucking coffee, you know, links in the description below. All this shit has helped pave the way for Iceman being more at peace and just, you know, on the road to a relative prosperity. Because what I have in mind in terms of being prosperous, not really setting the bar too high. Just want to be out in the fucking woods with a little shit house and have things paid for with used ass cars. You know what I mean? I don't set it too high, but shit, maybe it's achievable. I don't know. So thank you guys for supporting me as you have. But those are basically just some points as to as for the reasons as to why I have chosen a simple life thus far. So let me know what your thoughts are on those points in the comments below. And do you think you're living a simple life, or are you not? And I'm curious of the details if you're interested in sharing. So let me know in the comments below. Like the damn video. I'll talk to you all later. Peace be with you.